Hey everybody, it's a new show. It's called The Wrestling Boys. This is Goose with my mini-me, Logan.
Yep.
And we're here to talk WWE wrestling and maybe TNA and some Japan and whatever, Ring of Honor, or if we ever get a chance to see some of that. But today's topic, I wanted to talk about some stuff. You gotta wonder, who is in desperate need of a heel turn and who is in desperate need of a face turn. And it seems like right now there are some wrestlers that they need to be kind of switched around and switched over. So let me ask you this. So we get it started. Who is in desperate need right now of a heel turn, in your opinion?
Male or female?
Let's start with female.
I think it'd be nice to see Bailey.
Oh, really?
Nice to see a different Bailey. I know her hugger gimmick. I think the reason they're keeping that is more of merchandising. Because I think it draws a lot of kids and T-shirts.
It's hard for me to see Bailey as a heel.
How would it be nice to see a change?
Kind of like
change of character.
Change of character. See her start to be, because you bring up an interesting me because you look at Raw right now. Raw doesn't have a whole lot of heels as far as in the women's division. They've got Alexa Bliss, they got Mickie James, and they have Alexa Bliss and Mickie James
Jax.
And isn't Nia Jax a new face?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean she used to be a heel, but now that she's beaten Bliss for the title, I mean, are they going to turn her back to heel?
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't.
She's too popular.
Which brings up, because right now they're getting ready to have Ronda Rousey and Nia Jax for Money in the Bank, and I'm looking at, and to me that looks like two faces. They look like two faces going for a match.
I think they're giving Ronda a title shot too early. Like seriously, it's only her second match. Well, I mean, at least televised at least.
So you think they're giving her a push too early?
Yeah.
It is Ronda Rousey. So
I think that's the only reason she's getting a big push.
Because of the name and
because of the name and the baddest woman on the planet and how popular she was outside of the company.
Sounds like someone else we know, someone by the name of Brock Lesnar.
Oh, of course. I think that's the only reason he's still holding on to the Universal title is because of how popular he is outside of WWE and how much he draws fans from outside of the company itself and from the places he's fighting for.
For UFC.
Yeah.
Okay.
Places like that.
So you think Bailey needs a heel turn? She needs a desperate heel turn.
Yeah, because I think that'll probably get her another championship. She hasn't had one in a long time.
I like the new aggressive Bailey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean she's.
So I guess that's good enough for her. Maybe not like full heel, but at least that seems good.
All right, so my pick for a female heel turn, of course, is Sasha Banks.
Yeah.
Sasha Banks was a heel in NXT. Her and Bailey had great matches when they were their rivals battling each other, and I think they've kind of set this up because of the best friends that end up, in Hell in a Cell and the Royal Rumble and all this and how they've battled each other and
The Hell in a Cell was Sasha Banks and Charlotte.
Well, not Hell in a Cell. What am I thinking of?
Thinking of Elimination
Elimination Chamber, yes. My brain sometimes doesn't compute. But yeah, Elimination Chamber. And so it's just kind of like, it seems like every time Bailey tries to be nice to Sasha kind of stabs her and pokes her in the back. And
I think it's better to see, and I always like to see Bailey stabbing her in the back.
Yeah.
I always
Wasn't that, now that she's starting to do that. And I think Sasha Banks would make a great heel. I think it'd be interesting to see all of a sudden her team up with Alexa Bliss. And let's be honest. Sasha Banks hasn't really had a rival to deal with since Charlotte Flair left to go to SmackDown.
Yeah.
And they pass that belt back and forth between each other. And so I think it's time that, you know, I like Sasha Banks as a heel. I think she'd be a great heel. But I think for the same reason, I think because of the merchandise they're holding her back.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the only reason she still has like that whole hugger gimmick is because of all the merchandising.
Oh no, the little kids love Bailey.
And they love the t-shirts.
They love the t-shirts. And they love... Okay, so my pick for a guy who desperately needs a switch, a male wrestler who desperately needs a heel turn, is Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns needs a heel turn, and I think that what's interesting is the fact that, first of all, the crowd still hasn't bought into him yet. There's the only time he's ever been cheered is when he's been a part of the Shield.
Yeah.
And that's not even...
That was because of the other two, I think.
The other two, yeah, because of Ambrose and
Roman
Rollins.
Reigns is so boring.
He's become very boring. He's got almost the same set of moves, and it's like...
It's almost as limited a moveset as Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar.
Said, it's a little better. At least Roman Reigns is at least like 5 moves.
Yeah, he's got... I mean, you have to admit him and Roman Reigns has gotten better.
Yeah, I guess.
But, I mean, they put him in... they put him in a rivalry with Rollins. That lasted. They put him in a rivalry with Strowman. That kind of got dissipated. Who do they have to put him in a rivalry now? I mean, the only person I can think of is Kevin Owens.
Ooh, that'd be pretty good.
It'd be
But
good. I
why
think
are
it'd be
they
good rivalry.
pairing him up with Jinder Mahal? That just seems like the dumbest person to pair him up with.
Why?
You got like 2 boring wrestlers, 2 wrestlers that people don't really like.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I like Mahal. I think Mahal's gotten better. He kind of reminds me of some of the old school guys. But, I mean, I agree with a lot of people. I think Mahal's been given a huge push too soon. I think he hasn't really stepped in to that role yet. I mean, you and I both agree that Reigns has been given a push after push after push.
Yeah, I think it's kind of stupid how he keeps getting like shots at the Universal Championship while Finn Balor hasn't gotten a shot at the Universal Championship since he had to vacate it when he dislocated his shoulder.
His shoulder, yeah. He dislocated his shoulder. Speaking of Finn Balor, who was your choice for a guy who needs a desperate heel turn?
Finn Balor.
Finn Balor. Now tell me why. Because I think that's an interesting choice as a guy who needs a heel turn.
I think we'll see the Demon more instead of the Balor Club is for everyone.
Ah. So you think it would be more of a I won't say something like an Undertaker kind of
More
thing.
intimidating.
More intimidating. Okay.
Yeah.
And who could you see as in a rivalry? Because I mean,
I don't know.
I mean, I like the rivalry he had recently with Seth Rollins.
Oh, those are 2 good wrestlers. I would really like it if like Daniel Bryan and Finn Balor ended up on the same brand and they ended up in a rivalry.
Yeah, that would be nice.
That would be like 5-star matches
That
like
would-
every single week. I think.
Yeah, but I think what's interesting is the writing's
Well,
got.
actually, I also like it'd be interesting to see a rivalry between Finn Balor and Braun Strowman for some reason. Because if you've seen the last 2 matches, Finn Balor he stood up to Braun Strowman better than anybody else has.
Yeah.
No matter how big a size they were.
Right.
To be honest, and here you have a guy that's like at least like half his size kicking his butt.
Well, I mean, they tried that I think a year or so ago with Sami Zayn, and it just ended up becoming matches where we watched Sami Zayn get thrown from hither and yon, and
Well, I mean, I don't think Sami Zayn's exciting enough.
you hear that, Sami? You're not excited
Really
enough.
elicit enough like emotion or applause from the crowd.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, my thing is, it's hard for me to see Balor with that big smile, looking at everybody and coming out. But you do bring up an interesting point because it would be nice, it would be interesting to see the Demon come out on Raw to do a match. Here you're face Finn Balor, and all of a sudden here comes the Demon, and you're like, holy crap, where has this been for a year or so?
I don't think it hasn't been used for like at least a year.
Yeah, I think the last time we used it was actually, if I'm not mistaken, maybe in his match against Seth Rollins for the Universal title.
Oh no, he used it since then.
Oh, has it? When did he use
I
it?
can't remember, but I think he's used it since
Okay. but I kind of agree. I think that, I mean, it would be interesting to see Balor in a heel turn. I think he would have some interesting chances for rivalries within that. I can see him. Wouldn't it be interesting to see him get teamed up with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and get some guys? But you know, Rollins. I mean, my only argument is that I keep saying Rollins. I don't know why. Is that Finn Balor's already over with the crowd, whereas Reigns isn't.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Reigns still is not over with the crowd, and he's been in one main event after another, and still hasn't really impressed anybody. No, he's not really impressed anybody, and I think that, you know, I mean, again, you wonder if, I mean, it's almost at times where you think he's going to turn heel, and then they want to keep him as a face. And I'm thinking, just make up your mind, figure out what you want to do with Reigns. I'd say make him a heel. I think he'd be a great heel. I think seeing him in a rivalry with Seth Rollins would be absolutely fantastic. Would actually make Raw exciting. And I think it would probably bring back some of those matches that we saw a couple of years ago when Rollins was the one who held the title. Yeah. All right. We're overdue for a break. When we come back, we're going to give our picks for who desperately needs a face turn.
Yeah.
Right after this.
Your home is perfect. Until it's not. We understand that life has its changes. As your family grows, we're here to help grow with you. Because taking care of your family is important to you and important to us. Your story starts here with Cornerstone Mortgage.
Introducing the new California State Penitentiary Bologna Sandwich. Jail food sucks. Don't let your family eat jail food.
At the time you were arrested, you were served with a DS-367 temporary driver's license. It's good for 30 days, but if you don't act within 10 days, at the end of those 30 days, your license will be suspended. It's important for your lawyer to contact the DMV for you. Set up a driver's license administrative hearing so that your license is not going to suspension. That's something here at Braemar Law we do for you.
All right, we're back from the break, and we want to thank our sponsors, especially the guys at Adios Bail Bonds who are helping us out with the show on the air. So when we left off, we gave our picks for who desperately needs a heel turn. So who desperately needs right now a face turn? Who needs to turn face, in your opinion?
Male or female?
Let's start this. Let's go back. Let's do female again.
Mickie James.
Mickie James, interesting.
I think it's getting pretty boring with her being teamed up with Alexa Bliss, because I think she's always, like, in that partnership, she's being overshadowed. And so I think if she becomes a face and splits up from Alexa Bliss, I think she'll become more popular and get more title shots.
Isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting that she's a 6-time women's champion?
I think.
And
6 or 7.
And she's been the sidekick for Alexa Bliss for the last 6 months.
Yeah, it's getting boring.
It's kind of I think that, I would like to see more. If they're going to keep Mickie a heel, make her more of the crazy woman that she was when she was battling Trish Stratus.
I think that's too risque for.
It probably is, but still, I can see kind of. Can't you see the eyes? It's kind of like. and the smile coming back, and you're like, oh my gosh, here she goes.
Kind of like a Nikki Cross.
Oh my gosh.
Nikki
By the way,
Cross type.
those at WWE, please bring Nikki Cross up. I love her.
Who doesn't love Nikki Cross?
Who doesn't love-
Seriously.
I would love to see her run around the ring and just knock people over. But I know you must have a reason for keeping her in NXT. But by the way,
No, it's because at the NXT Chicago,
Mhm.
she got the match with Shayna Baszler, and I'm pretty sure she's going to end up winning the championship because of how over she is.
Yeah, I agree with that. But,
And I think that's why they put Sanity, well, the male people from Sanity up to SmackDown, is so Nikki Cross could get more of a push
So she-
instead of just be the female part of Sanity.
you think
know what I mean?
Yeah, you think she's being overshadowed? And
Yeah. I think she was being too overshadowed.
Okay, well that makes sense. I mean, when you got guys like Eric Young, Killian Dane, and Alexander Wolf, I mean, well, first of all, have you seen Sanity yet in a match?
Not on
on
SmackDown.
SmackDown. Hello.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. How it was like a month or two ago, they're just like, Sanity's gonna be here next week, and here we are like a month or two later, and they still haven't showed up.
Okay. Well, hopefully we'll figure out what's going on over there. So you
Yeah.
think Mickey James? You think needs a face turn?
Yes,
And
definitely.
it definitely needs a. And I think it would probably do. I think it would probably do Raw some good, maybe to turn her face again. The problem is, as you and I both discussed in the last segment, Raw doesn't have a whole lot of heel women to work with. So it's like, if you turn another person from heel to face, it's like, okay, now the only person you have as a heel is Alexa Bliss, and you definitely are going to end up having people who are going to turn, and it's going to seem really forced.
Yeah.
I don't know. My female that I think should turn face, and I think she's already on her way to turning face, is Lana.
Oh yeah.
Lana, I think that her match with
It's Lana Day.
it's Lana Day. Lana. And I think she was already. I mean, first of all, and we'll get into the in a minute. But you remember that match she had with Billie Kay?
Oh yeah, where she got the surprise.
Where she
win.
got the surprise win. And by the way, I've never seen. Basically, it was crazy. It was a 2-move match where it was like Lana just leaped up and like Mosca kicked her in the head and pretty much knocked her out, and then did some. I can't even remember what the other move was, but it was just bam, and she won the match. And I think she's someone who's over with the crowd, not because. And what's funny is she's not over with the crowd because she's a good wrestler.
It's because she's married to
Rusev, right?
Maybe we will actually get Mr. and Mrs.
Money in the Bag. It would be interesting.
That'd be an interesting.
But I think, and my thing is, if you're already over with the crowd, if the crowd is cheering you and the crowd's rooting for you, and you hear more cheers than boos, you have a face.
Yeah.
Not as, people will probably ask, well, what about John Cena? John Cena gets booed and cheered, and it's because, well, there are people who love Cena and there are people who hate Cena.
Yeah.
So, Cena will never turn heel. That's my prediction. He will never turn heel. He'll retire as a face. Because he is the face of the company. Sorry, AJ Styles.
Sorry, Roman Reigns.
Sorry, Roman Reigns.
Well, everybody hates you, Roman Reigns. So John Cena will always be the face of the WWE.
Hate is such a strong word, Logan.
Well, fine. Nobody likes him. Nobody enjoys his match.
So yeah, they do become very predictable, and you could almost like take a 5-minute nap and not miss anything.
Yeah.
But going on.
Well, a 5-minute match for a 5-move match.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Of course, we talk about Rusev. My pick for a guy for a face turn is Rusev. I think Rusev, he's so over with the crowd.
Oh,
And when I first heard the gimmick of Rusev Day, I thought this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Rusev Day, and yet it's kind of grown on the entire WWE universe. It's grown on me, and what I'm wondering. Let me ask you this: do you think that Rusev's popular because he's a lovable heel, or do you think it's because he's just a really good wrestler, and people want to see him wrestle?
I think it's both.
You think it's both?
Oh yeah.
And well, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. It does seem like he is a very good wrestler. And he's kind of gotten out of that shadow from where he was a couple of years ago, where he was just the uber heel.
Yeah.
And it's just people have just, they cheer him, they chant him, hit him and Aiden English. Trust me, the brain will come back to me. The Aiden English they've become this weird duo.
Yeah.
That
Rusev Day.
it's become Rusev Day, and I think it would only be natural to see Rusev turn face and see if it sticks and see if people just love him even more.
Yeah.
And kind of like what I think what I don't want to say Nikita Koloff, but whatever the Russian wrestler who was with the Iron Sheik.
Nikolai Volkov?
Nikolai Volkov, yes. Again, the memory will come back to me as time goes on. But when Nikolai Volkov turned face, he did it in front of everybody, and basically when him and his tag team partner were facing off against each other in a feud match, the partner sang the Russian national anthem, and then Nikolai Volkov comes out. He goes, "I'm going to sing the national anthem now," and he comes out singing the American national anthem. Oh, say, can you? It was such a shock to everybody. They went, "Oh, yeah, yeah," and they started sitting up and cheering, and they were cheering, and it was such a shocking face turn. And I think that this would be, and I think for Rusev, I think it would it would just boost him and give him a great push going in. Not thinking about Money in the Bank, because Money in the Bank, I don't think he's going to win I don't think he's going to win, but I definitely think he's going to get a title at SummerSlam. So I think he'll get a title at SummerSlam, and hopefully it'll be, as I'm predicting right now, it will be Rusev versus Elias for the IC title at SummerSlam. Giving a little hint to what we think is going to happen at Money in the Bank. Yeah. So who do you think what guy desperately needs a face turn?
Oh, Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn.
Interesting. That's really annoying with Kevin Owens. I mean, Kevin Owens, I don't see him as a face, but Sami Zayn, I like him more as a face. He's just gotten, he's just partnered up with a really whiny baby right now. So I'd like to see him split up from the whiny baby and go out on his own and flourish and become a prominent wrestler instead of becoming one of the B wrestlers.
A hanger-on?
Yeah, instead of a hanger-on, and maybe even become a main eventer and finally win a title.
Let me ask you this, because
main card?
Yeah,
or main roster,
because when they were both on SmackDown, they were actually, they were in that six-pack?
The six-pack challenge?
Yeah, the six-pack challenge for the title, and I think that they were facing against each other, and they actually wrestled each other, and they were pinning each other at one point. And I thought for sure this would be the point in time where Sami Zayn was gonna turn back face.
Yeah, I think that's what I thought too.
And they did. Why do you think they didn't do it?
Because WWE's stupid. Seriously, simple enough as that. Same thing with the Roman Reigns. Because they're so stupid, that they haven't turned him heel yet. They're not capitalizing on how much he's being booed. Seriously, if you have a face being booed, you're not doing your job right.
Now, let me ask you this while we're talking about Sami Zayn. What do you think about this thing that he's doing right now with Bobby Lashley?
It's okay. It's kind of funny. The Lashley sister segment, that was so dumb. It was kind of funny.
Oh my god, that was hysterical. I mean, and then of course the next week, Sami Zayn comes out and goes, "Yes, they were actors. I was trying to be funny, but it was but I've seen segments like that before with other wrestlers, and this one just didn't seem. It was humorous, but it didn't make me laugh. It was just kind of oh, this is what he's going to try to get under Lashley's skin by doing this skit, and it just seemed absolutely pointless as I'm sitting there watching this going, oh yeah, and you're sitting there and you're just counting the seconds okay, here's when Lashley's going to come out and beat up everybody, Here he comes. Oh, here, big smile.
All he does is come out and talk.
Yeah.
Like, come on, why don't you beat him up? That's what we all want you to do.
Yeah, and we want you to exactly. Yeah, we want you to pick up Sami Zayn and throw him across the ring.
Do one of those suplex things.
Right.
Yeah, where he like only does it with one arm.
One
of those.
Oh yeah. Cool. I think that I mean I find it interesting. I mean, remember about a year or so ago, Sami Zayn was. We just talked about Sami Zayn was the guy who showed up to Braun Strowman and ended up being
a ragdoll.
Like a ragdoll. It was like he'd come out every week and Braun Strowman would throw him around the ring and beat him up, and it was like, okay, what? And it was almost like they didn't even give Sami even a shot of even making him look good against Braun Strowman. And I'm wondering if they're, because I don't understand this rivalry. Well, I mean, of all the people Sami Zayn could be calling out, why Bobby Lashley?
I don't know. Why don't you pair him up with somebody his own size and why don't you put I don't know how to describe Sami Zayn. He's not like a big tough wrestler, but not like a very technical wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
But what would you describe like a?
I don't know. He's fast.
He's like between that. He's not like either of those, but
he's quick.
He's
Finn agile.
Balor.
He's like Finn Balor. In fact, Finn Balor would be the perfect guy.
Yeah.
To do. Finn Balor, Sami Zayn would be the perfect guy.
That'd be
perfect. Good. That would be a good rivalry.
Very exciting.
But I don't understand. This had to have been something that was like.
Well, wait, or maybe Sami Zayn versus Daniel Bryan.
Daniel Bryan.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah, if they were on the same brand.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that. But I think what happened was maybe they brought Bobby Lashley in and they're wondering what do we do with him.
Yeah.
And this is and I
think that's what happened with Sanity. They brought him up and then they're like, wait, what do we do with him now? And that's why we haven't seen him because they don't know what.
Which will be an interesting topic for next week's show. Wrestlers that are not being used properly. I think we have a whole list of those.
Oh yeah, the Ascension.
Breezango.
Oh yeah. The only reason Breezango's not being used correctly is because they're being used as a tag team.
Tag team.
They should not be a tag team.
What are some of the other wrestlers not being used well? I mean, just whole list.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, if you have if you got an idea of, let me ask you this, guy. If you have an idea of which wrestlers desperately need a heel turn, which ones definitely need a face turn, leave it in the comments below. Maybe we'll talk about it next week. But as for now, we are done for the day. Again, I am Goose. This is my mini-me.
Oh, you can look at these first.
You can look at these. Cool. These are all cool. These are all old school.
Really old, 30 years old.
30 years old WWE figures.
All rubber.
All rubber, This is not like hand me the
Big John Studd.
Let me show Big John. This is Big John Studd. Big rubber guy. Now hand me one of the other. Even This is
the Samoa Joe TNA figure.
This is the Samoa Joe TNA figure.
See how dumb he looked in TNA? Well, I mean, at least the tattoo on his face. That kind of
anyway.
Mention Big John Studd versus Braun Strowman match.
Oh, yeah.
We were talking about earlier.
We were talking about earlier before we go, because I was about to sign out. But before we go, we were talking about fantasy matches. We're going to probably come up in about a week or so, another show. We're going to come up with fantasy matches we'd like to see of wrestlers then and now. The one match I thought of having is Big John Studd against Braun Strowman. So if you have an idea for a fantasy match you'd like to think of and let us talk about, again, put it in the comments below. Maybe we'll bring it up next week. All right, that's like I said. For now, I'm Goose. I'm the Big Goose. This is my mini-me.
I'm Logan.
And we will be back next week as the Wrestling Boys.
Goodbye.